This week's Daily Dose Learning has been sponsored by Merdat Ebrani, Leilui Nishmat, Rafael Ben Levi, Ruach Hashem Tinachenu V'Gan Eden. Last week, we started with Perek Bet, the second chapter of Mishna Berachot, and we did the first few Mishnayot. We discussed if a person is allowed to pause in Shema Yisrael, and at what points in Shema Yisrael is allowed to pause. The last Mishnah, we spoke about a person who reads Shema and doesn't do a perfect job reading Shema, if he fulfills the mitzvah or not. If he reads it and he does not read it out loud. You see from the Mishnah, the Chafila, every word of Shema a person has to read out loud. A person has to be careful with the words. Dikduk ba'otiyot. Good morning. Happy Monday. Rosh Chodesh. Happy Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh. So we saw a few different cases. Now we deal with a new case in the Mishnah. Ha'umanim. Ha'umanim. And uman in Mishnah and the Gemara means a craftsman. A craftsman, a worker who is doing a certain job. And this is a unique case. He is in a place when Shema Yisrael starts. He's working for somebody else, so he's not on his own hours. This is how his job is. He's not on his own hours, and he is in a place. Can he read Shema Yisrael? He's not working on his own hours.
Meaning he's an employee. He's on someone else's time.
You have to take the time with somebody else. So the assumption right here, right now, is that he's going to be able to have just kavanah for one pasuk, Shema Yisrael, and the rest of Shema Yisrael, he's saying it off of memory. He's probably been read it many years as a child, and he knows it by heart. And he has a half degree of kavanah whenever he's saying it in the middle of his work. But there's another level over here, is that this guy is working on top of a tree, or he's working on top of a wall. He's a builder. Well. He's a builder. Yes, he's busy balancing right now. Now he's balancing, and he has fear that he might fall. And the time of Shema Yisrael comes. It's sunrise. And he's going to be doing this for the next 3 hours, whatever he's doing. So, does he say Shema Yisrael? Does he not? Is he required? This is the deeper question involved here. Is he required to get down from the tree in order to go reach Shema Yisrael with Kavanah? Or do you say that no, he's taking away from the hours of his boss? You can't get down from the tree right now. So here's the Mishnah. Ha'umanin, those that are working, korin berosh ha'ilan or berosh ha'nidbach. They may read, they're allowed to read Shema Yisrael on top of a tree or on top of a wall. They can read it. Why? A few reasons involved are, they only need to have full kavanah for one pasuk for Shema Yisrael, is where they have to have full kavanah. The rest of it they know by heart because they know it very, very well, and they can't take away from the time of the boss, right? Which implies, and this is a whole discussion about this, which I'm not going to get into. What about the boss? If he's Jewish, no. Let's say a boss is on top of a tree when Shema Yisrael comes. He has to get down. He has to get down and he has to say Shema Yisrael because he's on his own time. He's not on somebody else's time right now. He's not being paid on someone else's time. But there's a discussion about it, which I'm not going to get into because it's not directly in our Mishnah. Then, however, it gives you a qualification, and this is where we're going to focus on here. מה שאינן רשאים לעשות כן בתפילה. They can do that for Shema Yisrael, but they cannot do that for Tefillah. They cannot do it for Amidah. So we're getting to Amidah. You cannot read Amidah on top of a tree. You cannot read Amidah while you're on top of a wall, while you're in a situation where you're thinking about, I'm going to fall, I'm not going to fall. You can't have any kavanah when you're in a situation that you cannot have kavanah. You cannot pray in that situation. Your mind has to be focused. Your mind has to be focused, and you're having a conversation directly with Borei Olam. You're having a conversation with Hashem. Shema Yisrael is not a conversation that we're having with Hashem. Shema Yisrael is a declaration that we are making about our beliefs about Hashem. Right? In Shema, we're making a declaration in general, and we're stating the foundation and the core beliefs that we have as Jews. Yeah, it's almost in a way as we have a mission statement as the Jewish people, and we have to read it every single day. And this is called Shema Yisrael. It's a very, very important mitzvah. A person can accomplish it and can say that even when he doesn't not able to have full kavanah. Even when he's a little bit in a situation, he has to be focusing on other things, and he's not able. Again, it's not ideal. Again, this we're talking about, you're on someone else's time. But let's say you're on your own time. You can't read on top of a tree. You can't just go on top of a tree and read. But this is, you're in a situation which is not an ideal situation, and you know you're not going to have any time. Shema, you're allowed to say it even on top of a tree. You're working on top of a tree, and you're balancing, and you're afraid you might fall any second, but you know it very well, you know it by heart. You only have to have full kavanah for one pasuk, not necessarily for the whole thing. Again, not ideal. Really, a person should have kavanah for the whole thing. But when it comes to tefillah, you want to speak to Borei Olam. Now you're entering a conversation. It's a real conversation, direct conversation with Hashem. What kind of a conversation is it? If you're focusing on three things at once. You're cutting a tree, you're this. Imagine you're having a conversation with anybody else like that. Imagine there's any other person, any other important person. You want to go on a date with somebody and you want to impress them, and you say, "Oh, join me on my tree." And then when you go on the tree and you're like half talking to them, and you're having you have someone important. Now take it to the next level. You have someone who your livelihood is dependent on it. Your life is dependent on it. Imagine it was a boss. Imagine it was an important politician that you had to beg them for something that you needed, or the mayor, or whoever it was. By the way, join me on while I'm in the middle of my work on my tree. And then you have like half kavanah when you talk. While you're in the middle of cutting branches and making sure you don't fall, you're saying a few words in between. It's chokil adim. You're making a joke. You're inviting me to this. If you want to speak to me, come speak to me. You have to speak to me like a person. Give me the respect of a person.
So to sidetrack you, a little bit more modern day similar situation would be traveling merchants. Traveling merchants frequently are on a long highway at Zman Shkia or on a turbulent flight,
yes,
while they have to put their
So we've had this discussion. It would probably be very similar to what this Mishna says. You put the tefillin, and the ideal on an airplane is that you should sit down. You shouldn't stand. Don't stand whenever.
A lot of times you get an opportunity to go like in the corner. They give you an area in the kitchen area.
No, if I don't have to stand, I sit.
You sit down. You do the whole
You
thing. You have to have kavanah. The key, the foundation of tefillah is kavanah. The person has to understand that. And if a person cannot have kavanah, and there are different opinions on this. There's an opinion of Rambam. A person cannot even have kavanah in the first bracha. On what he's saying in the first bracha. Let's say you have turbulence on the airplane. Give an example. He says, don't pray. Don't pray.
Better don't pray.
Don't make a joke out of tefillah. Don't make it. So again, if your only situation is you can pull over on the road, either get out of the car or even in the car, to say it's sitting down. If you can say, even if your kavanah is you can only have kavanah when you're sitting down because you're not in a place that you can stand. Sit for the Amidah and you have kavanah. The key is kavanah.
But if you cannot pull over,
right?
can you say it? Can you say it by how you're driving?
Huh? Can you say?
I thought that's
Say
what
it.
lies.
I've done it.
I've done it frequently myself too.
And Shema Yisrael, maybe. Shema Yisrael, based on this Mishnah, maybe.
No, mincha on the road, out of town in the fall. Shkias at like
You shouldn't
4,
say Amidah. You
4:15.
can't say Amidah like that. You have to either.
And obviously pull over
You
to
have
the
to
park
pull
where you
over.
sit.
You have to pull over somewhere. You either if you're able to get out of the car and you're able to stand and face Mizrach, that's the ideal situation. If you're not able to do that, you sit in your car. But not while you're driving. While you're
Ross Bones, you just sit in your car. You stop anyway for 5 minutes.
if you're
Sorry.
if you're on the highway and technology is advanced enough and it's safe enough and you can put it on autopilot and you can let it stay in one lane and not focus on it. And we're at the point where, or get to the point you have driverless cars and you just have to sit in your car and you can focus, you can study Torah, you can stay Amidah.
So the sitting is not an issue if you're in a tough spot, as long as you can maintain your kavanah.
Yes, as long as the key is maintaining kavanah. If a person is in a situation that when he's standing he cannot have kavanah, but when he's sitting he can have kavanah, you sit and you say the Amidah. And you have a conversation with Hashem, and you talk to Hashem, and you have a real conversation. That's the point of Amidah, is I'm talking to Hashem. I'm understanding who are you, who's Hashem, I'm reaffirming it. I'm asking Him for everything that I need. We thank Hashem for everything that He gives us. See, you have to give a thank you to somebody. You're going to give a thank you while you're in the middle of doing 3 things and you can't focus on your conversation. Better don't have the conversation. The Gemara talks about Emoraim. It says in those times they would take long trips, but even their trips, it wasn't on a car or on an Amtrak. They would go on a donkey. They were like this, 3 days. And they went several days in a row, they were like this. They got to their destination, sometimes 3 days it says, they would not read Amidah. Because they couldn't have kavanah. Their mind was not able to be focused. For 3 days. 3 days. I'm not talking about 1 hour. 3 days. He Ulaid, if I'm not mistaken. Would not read Amidah. Amidah is something serious. If you're going to do it, have kavanah. Don't do it without Afghan. Don't make a joke of the Amidah. So this is exactly what it says here. When it comes to Shema Yisrael, a person can say it by heart. Right? You stop at a red light. While you're at a red light, you have kavanah for a second. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Then you continue, and you're allowed to read through the Shema if you know it very well by heart. But when it comes to the tefillah, a person has to stop and he has to have kavanah. You can't read the Amidah on top of a tree or read the Amidah on top of a wall.
Serious stuff.
Good? Okay, so that's good morning, Chodesh Tov. So now, while we're on the kavanah issue, the Mishnah segues into the next thing, and you'll stop me whenever we have to stop, and we'll continue with this Mishnah tomorrow. While we're on the topic of kavanah, we have a new case of can someone have kavanah or not, or commonly people could have difficulty having kavanah in the situation. And that is chatan. Chatan getting married.
Just the night of his wedding, or like from engagement till after Sheva Brachot?
Focus.
It's so easy to focus. We try, but it's not so easy to focus.
And the problem of our generation, which I do not have the solution to, and I don't know who has a solution to, is kavanah in general. People have kavanah talking to each other. People have difficulty at kavanah talking to each other. People have difficulty having kavanah reading a book. It wasn't like this, and the reason for it is screens. That's the reason for it.
What?
between the cell phones, between the television, between the iPad, the images. This is the reason for it. People don't have the same focus ability that they used to have 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Even in the Torah world, Rav Shachter in Yeshiva University used to say that when we studied with our teacher, when we studied with Rav Soloveitchik, he gave shiur 3-4 hours. You would sit with him, you sit with the Rav 3-4 hours, you studied with him. Rav Ben Chaim also said, Porat Yosef, this was how they studied with their Rabbanim. 3-4 hours they actually, nobody had to take a break, nobody got tired, everybody was able to focus. There was nothing wrong, there was no problem focusing for 3-4 hours. Today, who can focus for 3-4 hours? All the shiurim in YU, they're max 45 minutes, 1 hour. Rav Ben Chaim goes for an hour and a half. He's the longest of all of them. People don't have the focus that they used to have. And the reason is the screens. They know that even in the academic world, they say that the dissertations these days for candidates, for PhDs, the quality of the dissertations, you have to write a 300-page paper. They say the quality of the dissertations has gone much lower than what it used to be. People aren't able to think as deeply, and people aren't able to focus as much. We, Baruch Hashem, Am Yisrael, those who keep Shabbat, at least we have 1 day a week we have Shabbat. Those who are keeping Shabbat and don't have a thing, Baruch Hashem, 1 day a week. There are people that we shouldn't know. There are people that, I don't know if you know this today, they pay tons of money to be able to go live in a cabin for a weekend. Not to have any to disconnect, not to have Wi-Fi, not to have cell phone, nothing. Yeah, special hotels in the middle of nowhere. And people pay a lot of money for this service.
We always talk about how, like, all of a sudden Shabbat we find ourselves having all these conversations and talking about ideas and plans and things that, like, why aren't we talking about this during the weekday? Because
and with WhatsApp and every second it dings and you have to answer it. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know what the solution is, but it's an issue that has affected Tefillah. It's an issue that's affected Talmud Torah. Life in general. Social. Hashem should help us solve it. Every person has to learn how to solve this issue, to learn how to manage and control himself. It's very difficult. It's not easy.
Not a working department.
The question is that, like, let's say you're trying not to look at your phone, you want to focus, but let's say a bunch of people message you, you don't answer them.
They get offended.
Yeah.
If you don't answer them fast, they get offended. Why are you not talking?
But that's why when a person